What's going on, Star Wars fans? You are listening to Hutt Space Radio, episode number 4. My name is Chris, and this episode is going to be a complete recap of Star Wars Celebration Orlando. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to be going over all the actors that I met, the panels that I attended, and the collectibles that I picked up, and also a lot of news that Hasbro dropped on us, which is unbelievable, very exciting stuff. But before I get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody that came up to me. The support is so overwhelming. I was not expecting that, and I absolutely love you guys. I can't tell you how that made me feel. All the love that you guys were showing me was incredible. I brought a lot of patches and pins, and I was completely out by Friday. I wasn't prepared for that, and I'm telling you guys from the bottom of my heart, that was so awesome. So hopefully I see more of you guys next celebration, and trust me, I'll come more prepared. It was just amazing, and I can't thank everybody because I'm very happy to say that there was a lot of you, so I can't thank everybody, but you definitely know who you are. You made me feel like $1 million. You made one person feel like 100, so let's light them up. If you didn't get that reference, that's from Rogue One, but of course you guys did because you're amazing. So guys, me and Mrs. Hutt, we arrived in Orlando the 12th, which was Wednesday, the day before. We met up with a handful of our friends, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And I can't mention how I got onto the floor Wednesday to, do a nice little walkthrough because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But if you guys are listening, you know who you are, and I can't stress this enough. That was really cool to walk around the floor without there being any crowds. I got a lot of awesome pictures with all the life-size stuff, and it was really phenomenal. And it was really good to get a bearing of where everything was. So that was really awesome. Before we got into the floor on Wednesday, a lot of people are setting up, a lot of people are walking by, and we ran into Steve Sansweet, which is a really awesome guy, Rancho Obi-Wan, so we got a picture with him. Always a pleasure to meet him. So we ran into Jordan Hembro, the toy hunter. He's a really cool guy. The TV show was absolutely phenomenal. It only lasted 3 seasons. Hopefully he gets back on the air. He's just a really great guy. Besides for that, that was basically Wednesday. It was just us unpacking, getting our bearings, meeting up with our friends, getting a game plan for Thursday, which we did. And Thursday, basically what we were shooting for, I know the 40th anniversary panel was happening, but everybody was sleeping out. There was no way in hell that we were going to get in, and I wasn't going to sleep out. We got a really nice room at the Hilton, so I wanted to enjoy that. But we had a game plan. We were going to wake up early, get over there around like 5:36, and to get the exclusive Luke Skywalker 40th anniversary Black Series Celebration exclusive, he's in the X-Wing pilot gear, you had to wait in line, and Hasbro handed you a ticket. So that's what we went for. We're like, something, let's get the exclusive out of the way. It's a phenomenal figure, and we all need it. So we woke up early, we headed over there, and we waited in line. Sure enough, we got the ticket, so that guarantees us a figure. So that went according to plan. I can't stress this enough too. Like, when you're waiting in line, you meet a lot of cool people, and just waiting in that line was pretty awesome. Now, a little thing that was different from this celebration is every panel you needed a wristband, which that's a lot different than the past celebrations I went to. The only time that you needed a wristband was for like the really big panels. But there was a panel on, I believe it was Thursday. I'm already forgetting, guys. Yeah, the panel, I believe, was on Thursday, and it was Dave Filoni and Pablo, and they were talking about, the Clone Wars and Rebels and all the animation stuff that's going on, and it was really cool. So I was able to get a wristband to that. So that was later on in the day. As you guys know, I'm a huge autograph guy. I love meeting the actors. It's one of the reasons I go to Celebration. I mean, I know the panels are phenomenal, but I love meeting the actors, and that's your golden opportunity to meet a lot all at once. Basically, Topps was running this one, not official picks. Each day, you scheduled your autographs. It was a lot different than the previous celebrations because the other ones you would just buy your autograph and get the autograph whichever 4 days that you're there. but they had a schedule, and it worked out for the most part. So Thursday, I had Wedge, Dennis Lawson, Gold Leader, Angus. I had BB-8, Brian Herring, and I had Steve Bloom, which is Zeb. That all went according to plan. It was great. It was so awesome meeting these guys. Like, I never thought I was going to meet Wedge and Tilly's, and it was great because, like, me and my buddy Mike, we've always talked about Wedge, even since we were, like, little kids, and we always talked about how, you know, he was in all 3 of the original movies and how he was just an absolute badass, total hero to the rebellion. And when I got up to him, you know, he signed my picture, made it out to me, and all that good stuff, and I was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that me and my friend think you're an absolute hero. And, you know, like, you could tell that he really appreciated that. He laughed a little bit. He looked like he was blushing, and it was really cool. Gold Leader, Dutch, was awesome. Angus is his real name, and what a humble guy. And the first thing that I talked to him about was, because, as you guys know, I absolutely love Rogue One, I was like, hey, dude, how did it feel knowing that they're reusing old footage for Rogue One? And his exact words were, my heart is still racing. And I'm telling you, that was so cool to hear that, because there's nothing I like hearing more than the guys from the original trilogy still getting amped up for new Star Wars. And it was really cool. He was such a nice guy. BB-8, Brian Herring, talk about a guy that was super, super excited to be there and really excited to meet you. So he couldn't be any nicer. He was telling me about BB-8. He was telling me about that droid at the very beginning scene of Rogue One when, you know, going into Galen Erso's farm area. I guess he was moving him around too, so he did some work on Rogue One. And I was asking him about The Last Jedi, and he said that this movie is just going to blow my mind, and it takes a crazy, unexpected turn. So I'm really looking forward to that. So this is why I really love meeting the actors, because this is stuff that you're not going to read about or see. It's a personal experience, and you'll leave very satisfied. So the last guest that I met on Thursday was Steve Bloom, voice actor as Zeb, and he also voiced some of the trolls in Box Trolls. And we're talking about that. We're talking about, you know, the upcoming season 4 and how amazing Zeb is. And he's such a cool guy. And he's actually going to be coming to a pretty local convention, about like an hour plus away from where I live. He's going to Rhode Island Comic Con. So I told him I have the Zeb statue that Gentle Giant put out, and I would love for him to sign the base. So I'll be bringing that with me for him to sign. And he seems really excited about it. And what was really cool, you know, I made the Collector's Hutt patches, and I gave him one, and he was like, oh, this is awesome. I have a jacket with I sew all the patches on, and I'm definitely going to put this on. I'm telling you guys, if I ever see him down the road wearing my patch, I'm probably just going to faint. It's going to be pretty amazing. So that basically wrapped it up for my autographs for Thursday. Trust me, there's a lot more. Friday was a very, very busy day for me. That was it for autographs for Thursday. The panel that I attended with Dave and Pablo was very, very cool. They were showing a lot of concept art of Ahsoka. They were showing a bunch of stuff. And what I loved the very most is that every time I go to a celebration and Filoni is hosting a panel, he always brings something from the Clone Wars that we've never seen before. It was basically like 65% finished, and it was between Boba Fett, Cad Bane, and, you know, some of the other bounty hunters were there, like Bosk, and it was like an old Western style. So they were like dueling off. So Cad Bane's on one side, Boba Fett's on the other. He has his Mando armor, which is really awesome, and it's just silence. And you see them with their fingers on their triggers, you know, getting ready to pull out their guns. All of a sudden, it's just like they both shoot at the same time. Pew pew! And then you just see Boba's helmet roll, and that dent on Boba's helmet was smoking. So, I mean, basically, that was from Cad Bane. So that was really awesome. I mean, it cut off there. Obviously, Boba doesn't die. What I took from that is Boba killed Bane, and the dent on his helmet is from Bane. That's what I took from that, and that's what I want to believe. And what's really awesome is probably an hour or two after that, I was walking around the floor looking at all the different collectibles and stuff. And who do I run into? Daniel Logan. So that was really cool. So I'm just talking to him on the floor about what I just seen. So it was like the perfect guy to run into after watching that. So I got really lucky with that. So I was like, dude, I just saw that clip and it's amazing. And he's like, dude, there's so much stuff that we recorded that I just can't talk about. And that like just led me to believe, like, holy crap, they must have been so far in. I hope and pray someday that we get more of these stories, whether they're in book form or whatever. But I was like, dude, that's how you got the dent in the helmet? That's so awesome. And then some random guy was like, Daniel, what happened to Cad Bane? And he was like, what do you think happened? I'm Boba Fett. And I was like, that's such a pimp answer to say. And Daniel is such a down-to-earth guy. He loves being around the fans. He loves talking Star Wars. And I'm telling you, that was exactly what I needed after seeing that clip. So, I mean, that was just amazing. And like I said, guys, you know, this is stuff that you wouldn't hear anywhere else. You just have to meet these people. Thursday, even though we woke up very early, my buddy Joe that I podcast with Brews and Blasters, he runs a website called RetroZap. So he decided to put out on social media, like weeks in advance, like, hey guys, we're going to be at this place called David's at the Hilton. You know, it's a very nice restaurant / bar. Whoever wants to come, just come on down. We're going to be there from 7 o'clock till close. Now, I personally thought, you know, okay, worst case scenario, this is probably going to be about 6 people there. Guys, I'm telling you, people kept coming in and out, and it was so awesome to meet a lot of you guys. It really blew me away how many people listen and how many people really enjoy what we do and what I do. It was very, very flattering. I got a chance to meet people that I've been talking to online for over a year. It was just a great time. I'm telling you, it made the time fly by, which was bad because I wish there was more time in the night because we're having some great conversations, and it was just a awesome time. So I want to say thank you yet again to everybody that came out. All the flattering things that they had to say. It was really, really overwhelming. It was nice. Now, Friday, before Friday even started, I was already having anxiety because I really overbooked. I had some help from my buddies over at First Order Transmissions. They really helped me through it, helping me achieve some of these goals that I set. Basically, right off the bat, the first thing that I had on Friday was Hayden Christensen photo ops. Number one, I never thought I would meet this dude, Anakin Skywalker from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I'm beyond excited and nervous to meet him. And right when we get, you know, to like that back area where they're doing the photo ops and I actually saw him, I was like, holy crap, like, it's real. Like, it's happening, you know? I'm telling you, what a down-to-earth, awesome guy. You know, I walked right up to him, like, shook his hand, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming. You did a great job. You know, it really means a lot to me. And he was like, thank you so much, man. You know, all this stuff. And he was, like, very friendly. Alexa was with me. We did a joint picture with him. And, of course, I blinked like a moron. So we waited off to the side. The person behind us took their picture, and then we had to go back up. And it was funny because Alexa was like, yeah, he blinked on purpose. And he was like, oh, no problem, dude. And I was like, I'm sorry. But it was a great time. And I was like, I'm going to see you soon. I'm going to be getting an autograph. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. And I'm telling you guys, if you ever have a chance in the future to meet Hayden, just make it happen because he's such a cool dude. So after that, what autograph did I go to? I think I went to Riz Ahmed, and he played Bodhi Rook from Rogue One. Another awesome guy. You know, when I went up to him, I had a couple of questions to ask him. When he was carrying that backpack in Rogue One, you know, with the cable line attached to it, it looked really heavy. So I wanted to ask him that question. I was like, hey, dude, you're awesome. I absolutely loved Rogue One. How heavy was that backpack? And he was like, man, it was heavy. It was like 40 kilos. Now, I looked that up to pounds, and it's 88 pounds, which really blows my mind. And I told him, I was like, honestly, I thought you were just a really good actor and that was made out of like, lightweight material. But that wasn't the case. That dude was literally lugging around 88 pounds of backpack, which really blows my mind. So every time you watch that movie, at least that's what I'm going to be thinking about. So I got that out and I was just like, hey, by the way, every time I say or hear Rogue One, I think of you saying, Rogue One. And he just kind of like smiled and was like, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And it's like, no, thank you, dude. So that was a great, great experience. We also did another photo ops with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar, which is another dream come true. I was a huge Buffy fan when I was a lot younger. And, Freddie, I mean, he was the king of the 90s, and now he's voicing Kanan, which is unbelievable. And so we did a joint photo with them, and that was really cool. I also got his autograph, and I got this really cool print from the artists that were over there. One of these guys did the whole crew of the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. And the way that he drew this and painted it out, it's really phenomenal. I'm going to be doing a recap review on my Collector's Hutt channel so you guys could actually see what I'm talking about. But it's a decent-sized poster. It has all the characters, and in the back there's a silhouette of the Ghost ship. And I was like, oh my God, I need to buy this, and I need to have them all sign it. Because originally I had this print from Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. I had two of them. One of them I already started getting signed. So basically what I did was I scratched that idea, and I was like, the one that I already started getting signed, I will continue getting that one signed, and I'm going to get this poster signed as well. So now I just have an extra print that just looks great anyway, but it's just one signed and one's not signed. But I'm telling you, the poster is where it's at. So I had him sign it. I had Steve Bloom sign it. Long story short, I had them all sign it, which was great. It looks phenomenal. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But Freddie was really cool guy, real down to earth. And I told him I couldn't wait for season 4. And he was just like, dude, it's awesome. And I'm like, of course it's going to be awesome. When they dropped on us that that's going to be the last season too, which we all kind of figured. So I really feel like they're not going to hold back with anything. This season's going to be very intense, but I'll get to that very shortly because I did attend the panel. So moving right along. So I met Tia Sircar, that voices Sabine, and she was super, super nice person. Guys, I know this is going to sound very repetitive, but honest to God, everybody I met was such a sweetheart. They're all so cool. Everybody's beyond nice. And that's not me just being overexcited Star Wars fan. They were all very nice people. So I met her. She was awesome. I met Vanessa Marshall back at the last Star Wars weekends. It was funny because I was with Alexa at that time. We were engaged. And, we told her about it. I think it just came up because we were talking a lot to her. And she... I handed her, I had like a business card at the time with the Collector's Hutt logo, and I've talked to her on Twitter a handful of times, and she's like, oh my God, yeah, I remember you, we talk and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I wasn't expecting that, And then, that was like 2+ years ago. And when I met her at Celebration, I was like, hey, Vanessa, how's it going? She's like, hey, how you been? And I was like, oh, maybe that's, just her friendly personality. And I was like, my name's Chris. From the Collector's Hutt, and she's like, yeah, I know, you got married, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, oh my God, you remembered? And she's like, yeah, is it a year yet? And I'm like, June will be a year, and she's like, happy anniversary, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm telling you, I like went white for a second, like I couldn't believe that she remembered, because I'm not even lying to you guys, I can't remember what t-shirt I wore like 4 days ago, and she actually remembered me from 2+ years ago. So, I mean, talk about a real stand-up person. Vanessa Marshall is a sweetheart. Thank you so much for remembering me. Not that you're listening to this, but I'm just saying, like, thank you so much for remembering me. That was a huge shock. I actually didn't know what to say for a couple of seconds. I was just standing there with a huge smile on my face. The other people that I met on Friday was Alan Tudyk, which is a super awesome guy. K2SO, and he's also going to be going to that Rhode Island Comic Con that I'm going to, and my lovely wife got me, well, she pre-ordered me the Hot Toys K2SO, and I really hope I have it before that convention because the stand that it comes on is perfect for an autograph, and I would love for him to sign that. I actually met Forrest Whitaker as well. Now, Forrest has been in a million movies. Ever since I was a kid, I seen him on TV. And I love Saw Gerrera. He did a killer job. I love that he's, voicing him in Rebels as well. I got a chance to meet him, got an autograph, and I was just telling him how amazing his performance was and all that. And he was just, like, really excited to hear it. Like, he absolutely just loved all the positive things that the fans had to say. And I love seeing that. He just couldn't stop smiling. So this is when I got extremely lucky, because when I'm at Celebration, I always keep my eyes open. I'm always that guy scanning the crowd, never knowing who's over there. There's always people walking the floor, like important people, from the movies and stuff like that. You always see actors, all the people behind the camera. There could be anybody. And I think so many people are always so preoccupied with what they're doing that they're not focusing. So every time I had like some downtime, I was always looking around. And who do I see? John Knoll. Now, if you're not familiar with John Knoll, he's the Chief Creative Officer, Senior Visual Effects Supervisor at ILM. Now, he's been working there for a very long time. He worked on the originals. He worked on the prequels. He was the one that pitched the idea of Rogue One to Kathleen Kennedy. So, yeah, he's a big deal. And I'm telling you, for once in my life, I was very organized. I had my Rogue One poster that I just had the actors from Rogue One signing. So I had that. I had my black Sharpie on me. I ran up to him and I was like, dude, thank you so much for Rogue One. You're awesome. The movie was amazing. Could you sign my poster? And it almost looked like he was shy, like he was with two handlers. I was the first person that recognized him, and he signed my poster. I was like, dude, thank you so much. And as fast as I turned around, now other people started going up to him, because maybe with me holding my poster, having him sign it, people were like, oh my God, that's John Knoll, or oh my God, this is somebody important. And then the handlers were like, nope, that's it, he's done. And I'm very sorry if I disturbed him on the floor, but that's one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Like, you're not going to run into this guy. And, I mean, does he do signings? I don't think so. When you're on the floor and you're somebody of that magnitude, someone's going to come up to you and ask for an autograph or a picture or whatnot. And I'm really happy that I was able to get that because I loved Rogue One so much. And it's just really cool to me that he's the one that was like, hey, something? This would be a great film to make. And they were like, let's roll with this. Okay, so as I was running around getting all my autographs and whatnot, I was able to get my Hayden Christensen autograph, and he was once again awesome dude. I got an 8x10 of Anakin from Revenge of the Sith signed, made out to me, and it's really cool. He has a really cool signature. That was around that time. That's when the trailer dropped for The Last Jedi, and holy crap, was it amazing! I'm really looking forward to this movie. I know that you guys probably already seen the trailer 10,000 times. All I had planned on Saturday because of the Star Wars Rebels panel, I didn't want to cram too much into my day. So I had the Felicity Jones autograph. I had a double photo ops with Felicity and Alan, and Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra. I was originally supposed to get his autograph on Thursday, but due to his work, he couldn't make it Thursday and Friday, so he was there Saturday and Sunday. Right off the bat, what we did was we got right in to the convention. The Rebels panel started, I believe, at 11. But because I had media badge, I had reserved seating, which was phenomenal. But basically what we did was me, Joe, Dengar Dan, Mike Tarkin, those guys from the Sandcrawler, they could only get one reserve seating. There's obviously two of them. I could only get one, and obviously there was two of us, me and Alexa. So when I went to go check in and get my reserve seating ticket, I was asking them, can I get another ticket? And they're like, well, if you wait until 10:30, I'm sure that there's going to be people that don't show up. And if we have extra tickets, we'll be more than happy to give you one. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So we waited. Joe and Mike went in to get our reserved seats. We got second row, thanks to those dudes. We waited until 10:30, and sure enough, we got our extra tickets, so we all sat together, which was phenomenal. So we were able to get 2 extra tickets. Once again, I got extremely, extremely lucky. So I had my backpack, and I've always carried around this Clone Wars poster that I've been meaning to get signed by Dave Filoni, and I ran into him at Celebration Anaheim. I ran into him. I was like, yes, finally I can get this Clone Wars poster signed. And what did I do? I forgot the marker. So I got a really cool picture with him, but I forgot the marker. So for the past 2 years, I've been walking by the poster being like, oh, God, will I ever have another opportunity? We get the extra reserve seating tickets, and as I walk out, boom, I see Dave Filoni. So now I'm not running like a madman, but I'm fast walking because I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And at the same time, I don't want to freak him out. Because we're kind of I don't want to say backstage, but we're like where the press conference room is, where we just got our tickets. So only media should be behind there, or special guests. So I went up to him. I was like, Dave, how's it going? And he was like, hey, how'd you get back here? Very politely, because I've never seen Dave angry. He's always smiling, and he's always like, hey, how'd you get back here? And I was like, dude, I'm media. And he was like, oh, okay, no problem. And I was like, all of a sudden I felt like, oh my God, I'm accepted, over here. It's okay for me to be here, which was an awesome feeling. And I was like, hey man, would you mind signing my Clone Wars poster? And he was like, not at all. So I gave him my silver Sharpie and my poster, and now he's signing it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Thank God it's happening. And of course, and if you guys really know me, you know how much I love Oppo Rancis, the Snake Jedi. And I was like, this is the third time I met Dave Filoni, and now this is going to be the third time for me talking to Dave about Oppo. And I was like, hey man, I'm the one that always talks about Oppo Rancis. And it was hilarious because he signed his name and he's drawing a really cool picture of Captain Rex. And he's like, oh God. It was just so funny to hear that. And, I was just like, we're going back and forth now about it. And he's like, yeah, we got him in the Clone Wars. And I was like, yeah, he looked amazing. And when I talked to you at Celebration Anaheim, we're talking about the lightsaber. You showed the lightsaber. And he was like, yeah, that was awesome. And he was like, I was always wondering, how would he fit into a Jedi starfighter? Would he wrap his tail around the throttle? And all I kept thinking about at that point was, you thought about it. Holy crap, you guys thought about it. And he was like, characters like that would always be tough and challenging, but it was just really cool to hear that, to share that moment with him. And then my buddy Dan was able to get his media badge signed by him too. And it was just so awesome that he took the time to talk to us and sign our stuff. I'll tell you guys, I met him 3 times, and every time I met Dave, he's just such an awesome guy. So we finally get into the Star Wars Rebels panel. Now, Joe standing up waving his hands, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if we get good seats. And boom, second row. It was incredible to be sitting that close because, they had the whole voice cast on stage. They had Dave Filoni, they had Warwick Davis, and then there was people in the crowd like Sam Witwer and Ashley Eckstein. Everybody was there, and they were talking about their experiences on the show. Dave was explaining to us how this was going to be the last season, and things are going to really ramp up, that they're going to be able to finish this series the way that they wanted to. And he made a little joke, which was pretty funny. He was like, I know how it feels, not to finish a series, hence the Clone Wars, but now they get a chance to wrap up Rebels the way that they want to. So I really feel like they're not going to be holding back. I feel like there's going to be a lot of amazing stuff going on. And of course, they showed us season 4, the trailer, which I know you guys seen already. You can watch that anywhere on YouTube right now. It really blew my mind. This season looks incredible. I love the fact that we saw U-Wing, Saw Gerrera, X-Wings, we're in Yavin. a fan favorite character, Bo-Katan, is back from the Clone Wars. You know, the Mandalorian from Death Watch. She was like Pre-Vizsla's girl. I was really cool to see her. There was just so much. And throughout this trailer, Hera is kind of narrating it. And it almost, to me, after watching this for like the fourth time, I really started paying attention to it. And it's almost like she's talking like if it's the last episode of the season, saying, you know, that she never thought it would end like this. And she's going over almost, you know, each character and stuff like that. It makes you wonder, because Rogue One, you see the ghost, you hear Hera's name, you see Chopper, but you don't see these other people. So it's almost like she's telling a story, and I could be looking way too far into that, or I could be on the money. I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to it. And they did show us the first episode, which I cannot say anything about other than it was incredible, and you guys are going to love it. So I'm not going to say anything about that, but I was able to see the first episode, which is really exciting. So every time you attend, you know, the Rebels panel, they always show you an episode or two, and it's really cool because, you know, not to rub it in, we get to see it, and, you know, you guys don't get to see it until like September or October. I know that sounds like a shitty thing to say. You know, I just think it's pretty cool that we get like that little treat. I do assure everybody that it is beyond kick-ass, and you're going to love it. So, after the panel, I went to go get my photo ops with Felicity and Alan, which was phenomenal because they're awesome people. I went to go get my autograph by Felicity, and she was super cool. You know, and when I met her, I told her how much I love the movie, and I asked her if she could write Jyn Erso underneath her name, and of course she did, because she's phenomenal. And then I went up to Taylor Gray, and I was talking to him, and we were geeking out for a while, me and him. You know, I was just telling him, how does it feel knowing that your character has been around so many iconic characters, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Maul, like, you will always have that. That will never be taken away from you. And he was like, dude, it's phenomenal. And I've talked to him on the podcast before with First Order Transmission. So after I was done nerding out with him, I was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, like, I talked to you before on the podcast, First Order Transmissions. And he was like, dude, why didn't you say so? Why didn't you start off with that? Like, we've talked before. And he's just like a real chill guy. So if you ever have a chance to meet Taylor Gray, definitely take advantage of that. So at that point, that basically wrapped up Saturday, and we're beyond exhausted. So, you know, we went back to the hotel, you know, got some rest, got some food, all that good stuff. Now, Sunday basically was going to be like my early walk-around day. My wife has family in Florida, so she didn't come on Sunday. She went to go hang out with her cousin. I was getting ready to check in to my second hotel because after Celebration we had some Disney stuff planned. But I wanted to walk the floor because, you know, Sunday, most of the time you can get some good deals. You know, the vendors sell their stuff. They don't want to take it home, make as much money as they can. So, you know, me and Joe, we were walking the floor. You know, we met up with Mike Talkin and his wife. I was able to get something that was really incredible that I just never really thought I would get. I have the whole Kenner set. They're all loose out of the package. They're in great condition. I have the complete set, but I never thought I would have one on card. I always kept my eyes open. You know, you can if you want to spend $300-$400, you can totally get one like right now. But you know, I just didn't want to spend that much money. So I was walking around, and then out of the corner of my eye, I was like, oh man. I saw a Tri-Logo Reese. I'm telling you guys, when I say mint on card, it was just pristine. No bends, no chips. The bubble is perfectly clear. It actually has the original price tag on it. It says 2 for $1 from KB Toys, which is classic. The guy wanted 120. I got him down to 100, and I took it and ran. You know, I absolutely love this thing. I'm looking at it right now. Like I mentioned earlier, I met Jordan Hembro from Toy Hunter, and I brought it right over to his booth because if anyone's going to know everything about this figure, it's going to be him. So he sprayed some unbelievable cleaner on it. He cleaned the card, the bubble, everything for me. This thing is like shining. And he was like, dude, you totally scored. If you get this graded, you could probably sell it for $300. But you guys know I don't really sell my stuff. I get very attached to my stuff. So the second thing I did, I went right to the AFA booth and I bought a acrylic case, protective case for the figure. It was $15 total sale. If you guys have any figures that are signed that you just want to keep pristine, get one of these acrylic cases. They're probably the best thing ever made for figures. I slid it right in there. It's been in there ever since. I'm probably never going to take it out. And it's just a phenomenal piece to own. I feel like I have a little piece of history. It was $100 very well spent. Jordan was such a cool guy to educate me on the Tri logo and to clean it up and tell me, that I got a good deal, because you always have that feeling like, did I get a good deal or did I not get a good deal? And right when I showed him, he was just like, oh, you scored. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because it would have sucked if he was like, yeah, you could get this for like $50. I would have been like, damn it. But anyway, that was really awesome. So, besides for that, that basically wrapped up Sunday, because at that point I had to go, and all the collectibles that I bought, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get them home. My mother lives in Florida, which is a huge, huge help at this point, because shipping all the stuff that I bought was going to cost me too much money. And she's like, you're crazy. I'm just going to take it home for you in a suitcase. And I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. So now's a good time to talk about the collectibles that I picked up. So like I said, on Thursday, I waited in the Hasbro line, so I got the exclusive Luke Skywalker in X-Wing gear, which is a phenomenal figure, and it comes on like a nice foil card. 40th anniversary, absolutely love that. I got the Rees that I just told you about. Now, we walked by the Hallmark booth. They make these things called itty bitties, and it's a little stuffed animal like character on like a vintage looking card, which we thought was really cool. They had Hammerhead, a red snaggletooth, and they had a Celebration exclusive blue snaggletooth that there was only 250 a day, and it was really hard to get. We tried, but it just didn't work out. The line was too crazy. But I love Hammerhead, so we were able to pick up one of those guys, and the guy that actually created these were there, so he signed the card for us, which was pretty cool. And as we were walking out, there was a vendor that had a bunch of Gentle Giant mini bust that I absolutely love. I did a nice bundle deal. He had a Rees and he had Ola, along with a lot of other characters. But I really loved the aliens in Jabba's palace, as you guys know. So I was like, something, now's the time to do a bundle deal. I'm going to American pick these guys. So he wanted $80 for Rees, and he wanted $85 for Ula, which was an absolute steal, because every time you look up Ula, she's like well over $100. And I was like, hey, if I buy both of these, are you going to give me a deal? And he was like, can you do $140 for both? And I was like, okay. Now, if he was already going to drop it down to $140, I just want to let you guys know I absolutely suck. I'm a really bad haggler. So he was like $140, and I was like, okay. But honest to God, I've seen the Ula go for like $130, $140. So in my mind, I was like, oh shit, I'm basically getting Rees for free. So that was good enough for me. I didn't want to really do any more arguing going back and forth with this guy. He was nice enough to drop the price. So I got those. Now, Disney Store had a booth, and they had a lot of cool stuff. They had, let me look at yeah, guys, look at this. I have show notes. There was actually so much stuff that I actually needed to write it down. But Disney had a Chopper figure that was completely new. He has the arms coming out of the dome, a third leg option. It's absolutely beautiful. So I wanted to pick one of those up. There was a 2-pack, 40th anniversary R2 and C-3PO, which I didn't pick up because I was going to Hollywood Studios. I was under the impression that all of these figures would be at their store, inside the park. So I'm just going to tell you what they had. So they had the Chopper, they had the 2-pack with R2 and C-3PO, they had the red protocol droid R-3DO that you see at the very end of The Force Awakens, and they had a 4-pack of the Astromechs from the Clone Wars. So I was like, I'm not going to wait in that line. I'm going to be going to the parks, and I definitely want to get the Chopper, and the 4-pack of Astromechs. And I absolutely love the R2 and C-3PO. And I was on the fence about that. I was like, oh, if it's there, I'll buy it. So just to fast forward a little bit, we went to Hollywood Studios, and we went on Star Tours, obviously. It was cool because I got to see Jakku and Naboo. Those were like the 2 scenes that I saw. They were phenomenal. And we got off, and I was like, okay, time to buy stuff. And they didn't have the 2-pack of the R2 and C-3PO, and they didn't have the R3DO. So I got the Chopper and the 4-pack of Clone Wars Astromechs, which is stellar. It's awesome. I can't wait to do reviews on this stuff. But I missed out on that opportunity. I really wish I just pulled the trigger at Celebration. But I'm telling you, I basically lived in that autograph area for like 3 days. And if I wasn't there, I was attending a panel or doing something, So it was a very, very busy time. And the one thing that I will complain about, I'm going to complain about something here. So Topps ran it. I really appreciate that Topps got all these A-list actors to come. I thought that was really stand up. That was really cool. But the one thing that really grinded my gears a little bit, previous celebrations, you can take a picture at the person's table. Now, obviously not the A-listers. They always have a separate photo ops, and I totally understand that. But like B-list guests, I could always take a picture at the table while I'm talking to them, and photos were just like off limits. And it was kind of a bummer because I really like to meet the actor, get my picture signed, take a picture with them, and this way it's a nice keepsake. I mount my 8x10 and then I have the photo with them near that or in a separate album, whatever. But you weren't allowed to do that. So hopefully next celebration, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be, taking care of the autographs. I would really like it a lot if you would be able to take pictures at the tables with the B-list actors, because it's always been like that. They shouldn't have changed that. But that's like my one complaint. So moving along, Hasbro completely rocked our socks off, if you guys haven't heard. Totally rocked our socks off. So they revealed, right off the bat, before Celebration, they revealed Rey with her speeder from The Force Awakens. They revealed Luke Skywalker and his land speeder. Now, these look phenomenal, by the way. I'm sure, you guys totally seen this. But the figures that they dropped on us at Celebration was just great. So this is what we have coming for the Black Series 6-inch. We have the Infernal Squadron TIE Pilot. Now, this is from Battlefront. We have Thrawn, which he's going to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and he comes with a lot of cool stuff. All the artifacts that he collects and things like that. It's a really great box display. But, he will be released in another wave without all of that stuff. But that's the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive if you want all the artifacts, and that's going to retail for $50. They're coming out with Tarkin that looks absolutely phenomenal. He comes with the interrogator droid. That ball droid that's like with the syringe when Princess Leia is like, in her cell. That looks great. They're coming out with Commander Gree, and that's going to be a Toys R Us exclusive for $25. And for the Hasbro Fans Choice figure, last year it was Jaina Solo, and we got to look at her, and she's in like a black X-Wing pilot gear with a purple lightsaber. It looks awesome. And I failed to mention that the Inferno Squadron TIE Pilot, that's a GameStop exclusive. I believe you can get your pre-order in right now. It didn't stop there, because at their panel, they dropped on us that coming spring 2018, the vintage collection's coming back for the 3 3/4, which I'm so thrilled about. So these figures obviously will be fully articulated. They showed off the first figure, which is Rey from The Force Awakens. It looks killer. Looks absolutely phenomenal. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. But I want to tell you guys, I know last episode I was talking about the Innovo Scarif Stormtrooper helmet that I've been waiting forever to get. It finally came. It's absolutely incredible. I love the helmet so much. I really wish it came with a helmet stand. I know You know, my boys over at EFX, they always hooked you up with a really cool box, a really nice stand for the helmet, and a really cool plaque to go with it. But Novos doesn't do that. They ship it over in a cardboard box. You know, it's well protected in styrofoam and everything like that. But the helmet really does rock. It comes with it's all fully padded inside. There's different paddings that you can add to accommodate the size of your head so the helmet fits perfectly. You can see great out of the lenses. All the paint application, the weathering, you can see perfectly out of the lenses. This thing is awesome, and I'm very happy that I picked it up. Will I be doing business with a Novos again? I don't know. But I really do love this helmet, and if you guys see one and you love Scarif Stormtroopers, which I know you do, this helmet might be the one for you. But honestly, if a Novos keeps doing this and they renew their contract and they have more years ahead of them of putting out Star Wars licensed merchandise, put a stand in there. Put a little plaque in there. Make it like a really nice showpiece, a nice presentation, all that type of stuff, instead of just putting a helmet in a box. You know, I mean, you're paying good money for this stuff. I paid like $5 something for this helmet. I think it should have came with a stand. I'm sorry, but I know you guys probably agree with me on that. So I don't know if you guys really want to hear the rest of my trip, but we went to Hollywood Studios. We went to Discovery Cove. We went to Epcot. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Gus and Ryan. And I had a blast. You know, me and Mrs. Hutt, we had a blast. All right, guys. Well, it looks like that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging in there. You know, if you want to see more of me, go to thecollectorshut.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Right here on YouTube, you can listen to me with Joe on Brews and Blasters. I'm on First Order Transmissions with all those guys, Corey, Mako, Nabil, Chris K, Fly Guy, Steve, Jay Yakface, all those good dudes over there. You know, I'm on the Sandcrawler every so often with my buddies, Dengar, Dan, and Mike talking. So I can't get into naming everybody, but I can tell you how much I love you guys. The support's amazing. And like I said earlier, you guys made me feel like $1 million. So I'm going to keep trying my hardest to deliver awesome content to you guys, whether it's on Hutt Space Radio or the Collector's Hut. But thank you for believing in me. That's about it, guys. So make sure you use your chapstick, drink your sour beer, and keep watching Star Wars. My name's Chris, and I'll see you guys soon. May the Force be with you.